So the message for today came through me first on January 23rd of this year, when I was asked to be a guest teacher in an online class that a friend of mine is leading. So I edited it for today and included some of the answers that were given to questions that were posed by that community. Whenever I do a channeled message, I start with a prayer that affirms the truth of all of our identity. And in this prayer, the phrase "in the name of" means in the vibration of, in the atmosphere, in the vibrational energy. So in the name of the Father, Mother, God, the source, the creator, in the name of the creation, extended from the source in love, the child of God, in the name of the Holy Spirit, Sophia, Shem, in the name of love, Christ, I am. And with those powerful words, we welcome all of you into this circle of love. We are most appreciative that the woman who is speaking does her very best to align her consciousness with the energy of love. She does this with enormous trust. She knows that she has no idea what will be said through her. She was given to read a Bible passage yesterday where Yeshua told his disciples, "Do not plan what you are going to say. The Holy Spirit will come and will speak through your mouth." There is a sense of great unrest on the earth and in the earth. There's a great sense of agitation that the forces of change are upon humanity. This can bring fear and it can bring joy. For those people who are afraid of change because they think something new is worse than the suffering that they are in, the energy of agitation brings lots and lots of trepidation, a feeling of guardedness and caution, and wanting to dig in and create a supply of resources to keep the individual ego surviving. For those people who are listening to their hearts and are in touch with a desire that has been there from the beginning, which is to know who you truly are, this sense of agitation, though unsettling, is experienced as welcome. That the structures that humanity have created, the social structures, the belief structures, the physical structures, have not been nurturing of life. So those people who are resting in their hearts and can feel the longing to return home welcome the tremors of change. Mother Gaia has willingly held the pain and fear and selfishness and greed of humanity. She has been like a mother who holds the old Kleenexes and used chewing gum that the children no longer need as they go off and play. But as they mature, she says, you need to take care of your own garbage. So she is in the process of returning the garbage to humanity for it to be transmuted into awareness. This does manifest as earthquakes and volcanoes, as the earth shifts her shoulders. When you stretch and you release muscular tension, you move. So the earth is likewise moving as she stretches and releases this accretion of pain. A great transformation has happened in the energetic field of the earth, a tipping point, you might say, where she is no longer receiving humanity's pain. That chapter is finished. And now she is in the chapter of returning the pain to humanity to take care of. This manifests as people taking responsibility to clean up the mess that has been created in many places and create systems that are circular, that are renewable and can honor life. We encourage all of you who are seekers to know that if you rest in your hearts, you are already found. There is nothing outside of you that is wiser than your true self. If you might, rest in this image for a moment. The soul is an extension of God. So the soul can never be separated from God. But you might picture it as a layer on top of the soul. There is the energy of free will. the power to choose how to perceive. So the choice to perceive the soul as isolated and separated from God creates the experience of only looking outward and seeing what appears to be a world of separated bodies and separated trees and separated rocks and separated clouds. In fact, of course, you all do know that on the level of physical reality, all of those things are connected. The trees are connected underground. The clouds morph and change into each other. All life is intimately interconnected. The bodies of humans do not exist without the body of the earth. But even more than this physical connection, there is a connection in truth, which is when you learn to turn your vision inward, you can see that the inner layer, which is the soul, has always been connected to God. You might experience this as the back of your heart chakra being wide open and connected to the source. It has ever been thus. It cannot not be thus. You would not exist without the soul's intimate connection with God. There is no separation. So just rest for a moment in your heart and be aware that when you turn your gaze inward and you feel the warmth of love in your heart and you notice that you have always been loved by your Creator, then a feeling of enormous peace comes over you. Those of you who are parents know the incredible awe that you experience when you have a newborn child and you watch them grow and unfold into who they are. Your source, your Creator God, the Mother Father, has that same experience of awe in watching her child unfold into who she truly is. It is a time of great jubilation in the heavenly realms that the child of God is waking up and not only longs to know who he or she or they are, but is actually becoming aware of who she or he or they are. You might tune into the joyful noise of the angelic realms as they sing and dance in praise that you are awakening, that you are coming to know the truth of your own nature, that you are trusting, that you can hear your own inner wisdom, that you do not need to rely on any exterior source. The voice of this woman speaking is not an authority. It is her attunement to the level of consciousness known as Christ consciousness. All of you have that capacity. All of you are the Christ. Remember what Yeshua said when he was on the earth plane in a body. Know you not that you are all gods. And do not forget his teaching, all this you shall do and more. The more is beginning as more and more of humanity awakens to the truth of your true nature, which is divine, which is infinitely powerful and infinitely creative. You might notice an energy on the top of your head, which is the sensation of your divinity entering into your body. Your divinity is, of course, always in your body, but this is a moment of being truly aware of the truth of your divinity. We would like to repeat that it cannot not be true. You must be divine or you would not exist. This is in fact true of the smallest particle of dust. It is true of the great beasts and enormous trees. It is true of the algae and the microbes. Everything is divine. Everything is one, and everything is in communion. The energy of communion, the quality of receiving divinity into the body, is important. We would like to expand on this to help you know that you are that communion cup. You are that grail. You already hold the divine wine. You are already an extension of God. So if you would, right now, Drink in the divine wine of love and feel it pour into your heart, and feel your heart as this cup, this grail, this cauldron. It is into your very being that you bring in the awareness of your divinity. It is not something that you wait to experience after you have passed out of the body. We would like to reassure you that when you pass out of the body, you do find much peace and ease and grace, and you do reconnect with old friends and family. But that is not the same state as fully enlightened awareness. If you retain any thought that the body is separated from God, you have not attained fully enlightened awareness. That is why the experience of enlightened awareness must happen while you are incarnated. You must release every thought of separation. Many of you will attain this state of fully enlightened awareness in this lifetime. There is great transformation on the face of the earth. Please rest in knowing this truth, and rest in knowing that not only does it have nothing to do with egoic consciousness, in fact, every shred of egoic consciousness must be disentangled and dropped. This is the great teaching of the Course in Miracles, to hold every painful experience that arises in the light of forgiveness, which means knowing that it has no power over you. This does not mean that there are no feelings associated with past hurts. It does mean to hold those feelings and honor them and care for them, just as a parent would care for an upset child. And you would hold an upset child. Oops, I got lost. And you would hold an upset child for as long as they need to be held. But you would also know that the pain will pass, and they will mature, and they will know who they are eventually. But you do not tell a child to get over their fears. There's no need to cry. That is cruel and unskillful. So when you have experiences that are painful, that are related to current or past harm, your role is to hold those painful experiences in the most kindly, compassionate love, and know that they will eventually pass. But they only pass in the cauldron of transformation that is your divine heart. So the path to enlightenment has thorns. There are places where your robes get caught, where you step on prickers. There are things that pull you back. There are places that you need to sit and rest and remove the thorns and have a drink of water. All of these things need to be taken care of and cannot be hurried. But our message to you today is, you are divine, and this cannot change. So just because you need to disentangle your robe from some prickers, or you need to remove the thorns from your feet, or you need to rest and drink and nourish yourselves, this does not change your divinity. It just means these are experiences that need care along the path. It is always helpful to have at least one friend whose hand you can hold so that you do not feel physically alone when you are experiencing pain in your heart. All that you require from that friend is a loving gaze. They do not need to say anything. They just need to convey to you their confidence in the truth that you have always been loved, you are loved, and you will always be loved. The pain needs to be honored. It is a response of the heart to feeling attacked. The ego, in its thought of separation, believes it needs to defend itself and believes it needs to have power. And so it does things that hurt other people in its selfishness. So when you are experiencing pain, it's because you have been on the receiving end of another ego and its benightedness, its inability to know the truth. When you can know that this is a battle between parts of yourself and parts of the other person that are being enacted in a nightmare, then you can create a little bit of separation and stay in what the Buddhists call your observer. Hold that battle with deep compassion, knowing that the battle is very painful. And yet, when you hold your sister or your brother's hand, you can feel the realm of the angels that are surrounding you, so that that battle can calm down and you can know the truth that it will eventually fade away into nothingness. The soul has never been injured. The soul is always connected to God. What is growing is the awareness of the soul's identity. The thought that humanity was a separated ego is what is being released at this time. It is being felt that there is no benefit in the idea of greed, of trying to survive, in holding on. Everyone is aware that the body dies, and there is a collective relief in admitting that there's no point in holding on to material goods. This is a great relief to the earth, who will no longer have to produce so many material goods. So the soul doesn't exactly grow because the soul is always divine. It is the self that grows. It is difficult to express in words knowledge that is beyond the concepts formed by words. The self, with the capital S, the awareness of the soul, the one who listens to the soul, the true self, the one who is aware of who she is, this is what is growing. And you might say that the mantle of rigidity, a kind of shell that the ego has placed around the self, is what is cracking and falling off. So how do you grow? How do you form an awareness of your true self? The sense of the self as victim is ingrained in all of humanity. And there is a great sense of pride in having survived all manner of suffering. So there is a difficulty in letting this go because there is a sense that the survival of pain would not be honored. What is needed at this point in your growth and in the growth of humanity is a focus on the nurturing of your true self. You are needing an awareness of who you truly are in order to be able to release your attachment to the thought that you might be a victim of another ego. When your self-concept has been aligned with your true self, which is aligned with the Christ consciousness and aligned with your soul, then the need to have a self-concept that is aligned with the sense of survival becomes unnecessary. There's no judgment at all in feeling like a victim, because when you are attached to the thought that you must survive and defend yourself, you, of course, feel like a victim of circumstance, of natural disasters, of wars, of other people's behavior. The list goes on and on. So there's nothing at all strange about having an attachment to a victim identity. But you are beginning to doubt that there's any worth in that identity. The purpose of experience is to know who you are. It is not to only survive. The purpose is to come closer and closer to a loving expression through every experience, especially a loving expression towards yourself. So please trust that your true self is divine and it is who you truly are. And when you rest in that identity, then you can hold the fear and the victimization and the pain in the palm of your hand with the most tender love. And once those painful feelings have felt soothed and they can shake off their fear and they can return into your heart and be transmuted into love. At this moment, in response to a request that someone posed for a message for that class, that group, the quality of the voice coming in my own voice shifted to being more specifically that of Yeshua. And he says himself, trust your own hearts. The truth is within you. All teachers are merely guides, including myself. I know who I am, and I had the courage to speak it when I manifested for the last time in a body. This was, of course, very threatening and startling to hear me say, I am God's child. But I tell you the truth. You are all God's children. So my message to you is, do not forget this message, that you are the child of God. It is in your alignment with your own heart, with the Christ consciousness, with your soul. It is in that alignment that you will find your path home. Do not cling on to any teachings. The Buddha taught very clearly, the raft is not the shore. The teaching is merely a way for you to attain the other shore, the land of full awareness. Do not cling to any teaching. Do not cling to the teachings of the Buddha. Do not cling to the teachings of the Way of the Heart or A Course in Miracles. Do not cling to the words that I am speaking to you now. But do feel the power in your heart. It is like a bolt of lightning that I transmit to you. You are the child of God. You have the power to know who you truly are. You have the power of the Lion of Judah. I tell you the truth. Know who you are. Know who you are. Know who you are. And I will be with you every step of your journey. You are never alone. It is impossible for you to be alone. There are great beings always with you. I would like to say something about the great beings. The great beings are those of us who have attained full awareness of our true identity while in a body on the earth plane. Therefore, we have no need of returning to the earth plane in a body, and we will not, in fact, return to the earth plane in a body. This would be a distraction to the path of awakening. It has already been demonstrated that a body is made of light. Your task is to know this for yourselves. It is not to worship a great being who has attained that awareness. Those of us who are residing in the realm of Christ consciousness are in perfect communion at every moment, because every moment is now and all space is here. We are always present with each other and with you. This is a great paradox that the egoic mind cannot understand. But I simply say to you the truth, that all time is now and all space is here. Do not ever think that I am somehow too busy with other projects. I am with you always, as I promised when I was in a body, to the end of the age. And what is that age that is ending? It is the age of the belief in separation. Why am I with you until the end of the age? Because I cannot not be with you. And when the age of separation ends, you will know that you are also with me, and we will reside in the endless expansion of perfect awareness of love. You have heard my mother speak of the new that is upon us. This new consciousness is the consciousness of perfect unity and perfect self-awareness, the perfect consciousness of that paradox. It is the newness of creation being aware of itself. The teachings today were opened with the message of the excitement that exists in the heavenly realms as humanity becomes aware of who it truly is. So my message to you in this small community is to know who you are. Never forget the truth of who you are. You are divine. You yourself have access to all wisdom at any moment. If at any moment you feel lost or alone, stop, breathe, tune into your heart, go deep into the heart. The heart chakra is normally pictured as being on the front of the body, but it is also on the back of the body, and it is mostly in the center. So go into that center point of the heart until you feel loved. When you feel loved, you can drop your shoulders, you can relax your jaw, and you can tune into the center of your brain, and you can hear whatever message you need for what is required next on your particular path. Do not attempt to listen inwardly if you are not resting in your heart. I have complete confidence that all of you will learn to attune your own particular vibration, your own particular pattern of the infinite expression of the child of God. You will learn to attune your vibration to the vibration of the level of Christedness. We are awaiting your welcome home. The feast is already spread. The table awaits your arrival. Know that you are loved forever and ever and ever. There is a beautiful Buddhist prayer that says, the one who bows and the one who is bowed to are both inherently empty. Therefore, the communication between them is perfect. We honor you. We bow to your essential nature. We bow to your divinity, and likewise we receive your gratitude and your bowing to us who know our divinity without question. Therefore, the communication between us is inexpressibly perfect. It is beyond words. It is felt in the heart. It is felt throughout the body as a joyous, energetic tingling. My sisters and brothers, one of our messages to you today has been to drop your defenses. This does not mean that you should walk into danger or ignore warning signals, but it does mean that you should trust God. Yea, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Goodness and mercy does follow you all the days of your life, and you will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That is beautiful poetic language to reassure you that when you trust God and you release fear, you are given guidance on your particular path home, and you will reside in your Father's house, which is a metaphor for home, which cannot be described in words. Just rest in the joy in your hearts, in knowing that you have made a commitment to walk along the path home. Appreciate yourselves. Appreciate your own devotion. Appreciate your choice to make the commitment to wake up, to hold every piece of egoic fear in tenderness until it is soothed and calm and can be held in the heart and transmuted into love. Picture this circle holding hands with your feet in the center and your arms leaning back. Picture your heart chakras opening to the sun, which is pouring light and love of God into your hearts, through your bodies, and out your feet into the center of the circle. And then release your hands and open them and release the love out into the world. And in the rest of your day, there is nothing you need to do. Just feel the knowing that you are cherished. You are the beloved child of the Creator God. And so it is, and amen, and amen.